Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
I can.
Perfect.
Where are you,
How's
David?
Here's my visual clue, John. Ready?
Nantucket?
Got it.
You got it.
Are
Got
you
it.
hunt? Are you hunting there?
No, we're out on the beach.
Okay. This is a great time of year.
We've kind of migrated here once the boys graduated. It just makes so much sense. I mean, the island is ours. I mean, the busiest we've seen is going to a southern beach. And if you look left and you look right, there were about 30 people on the most crowded day, as far as you can see.
Wow.
Yeah. Because
Amazing.
the Cape is the same way. This time of year is just spectacular.
Best weather, best days, smallest crowds. So
Com
And water's
completely
warm.
agree.
And
Right.
that's what I love. It's like you can go right in.
But John is so right about the weather. It's always spectacular this
great
time of
days.
year.
Yeah.
Right. Although it doesn't beat where you were, John. That place looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah. It's, Robin, so the secret behind is my niece is Sam's age, so
Okay.
she's married, two kids, they have a house in
Wow.
Montreal, and to buy a lake house for our kids around
Right.
here, unaffordable, just impossible. After buying their primary residence.
Yeah.
But in northern Quebec, a house on the lake with, a beautiful place is a fraction of what we would pay.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that just looked absolutely untouched, spectacular
Yes.
place.
Yeah.
John,
Like you
how
really
cold was
go
the
there
water?
and unwind.
It's warm, Dave. So it's literally Lake Shad, warm lake translated. And it was like a bath water. It was incredible. Just beautiful, warm, and it'll be warm all through September.
Huh. It must have some kind of spring that feeds it. I mean, I would think it would be freezing.
Yeah, and it's incredible, just absolutely warm, and it's always been that way, thus the name, right?
Lake Shom. Huh.
Yeah, yeah, and as I told both of you, the only thing close by is an airport and a prison.
What more do you need?
Covers everything.
So here I thought you were hunting, Dave, in the wilderness. So,
That's next month.
okay. All right.
It's coming.
Okay. All right. So I wasn't just dreaming
Right,
stuff.
exactly. So, and I was supposed to take another trip, but that got canceled. So, and all of a sudden it got very busy.
Dave, did you do when you were during the COVID, did you go to Nantucket and just kind of hang there?
Yeah. So we've been coming to this house for about 5 years now, and we love it. It's got it is a scene straight out of a Norman Rockwell painting, or if you remember the Farewell to Shady Lane and Bill Pete and those books.
Yeah.
Is literally there is a yard with a covered porch.
Yep.
With a beautiful yard with a white picket fence. There's
And a
an
gate.
elm tree, and huge, with a
Yeah.
branch that comes off about 20 feet off the ground. It's got a big swing on it. It's yeah, and you're looking at all the Nantucket houses. So
Yeah. Wow. Well, sounds perfect.
it's fun because we get the boys to come out. So
That's good. That's the key. You wanting get people to be there and enjoy it when they're there.
It's a good thing I haven't eaten a lot while I've been here, though. Wow.
Well, well, you'll have to walk more, that's all. Well, it's 6:30. I don't think we're going to have a huge audience this evening based upon our agenda and everything Mona provided. So I'll go through the preliminaries, get the opening. Welcome everyone to the September 5th Board of Selectmen meeting. As a preliminary matter, the Board of Selectmen meeting is being conducted remotely consistent with the governor's orders of March last year. Individuals wishing to participate may do so utilizing the Zoom video conferencing technology. Please note the meeting is being recorded live on Facebook, broadcasted on Dover Sherburne cable television. Accordingly, please be aware others may be able to see you, and take note not to share your screen. Anything that you say and anything that is captured will be broadcasted. As a preliminary matter, I will confirm John Jeffries, chair, is here. Robin Hunter.
Present.
And Dave Haviland.
Present.
Joined by Michael Blanchard and Mona somewhere.
Here.
Hi, Mona.
Present.
John.
She's present.
It's good to be Mona. And Michael, is Chris with us?
So Chris is on his honeymoon.
Oh,
So
God, that's
he had
right.
better places to be than here tonight.
An allowable excuse.
That's
Oh,
right. Well,
Absolutely.
There's not many we're gonna let slide, Michael, but that is one of them.
that's what I thought.
Exactly. Congratulations. Congratulations to Chris Costello. How about that? Well done. And Mike, anybody contact you or Mona that would like to be recognized before we begin this evening?
No, we received no word, and we're the
No.
only ones in the room on Zoom tonight. So
Terrific. Okay. Well, we're gonna get to it. Maybe we can do this in a record time this evening.
I was going to challenge you, John.
So moved.
So our first item is the calendar of events, list the key events and the working dates that Mona provided everyone. Went through everything. Everything looks in order. My only comment was the warrant seems to open early this year, the end of November. So I thought that is great. It closes for second week of January. Everything looked in order to me. Robin, comments?
I did not see anything missing.
Dave?
Most of those are set almost statutorily, right?
Right.
So I didn't see anything out of place, and so no, I think we're fine.
Great.
If not, we can always add something.
Yeah.
that's right.
I'm going to move to approve the calendar events for October 2024 through June 2025, dated September 4th, 2024, and ask for a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor, aye, John Jeffries.
Aye, Robin Hunter.
Hi, Dave Haviland.
Thank you very much. So moved. And again, Mona, thank you for sending all of that out and all the, I'm sure the edits and all the work that you had to do to make this happen this evening. The next item of business is the waiver of the certificate of inspection fee of $40 for the Dover Library annual inspection fee. The inspection of the Dover Library is scheduled to take place in September, and the building department is requesting that the selectmen waive the inspection fee of $40. It's the practice of the board and the town to waive the inspection and building fees related to town buildings. I don't think there's a whole lot to discuss, but I will move to waive the certificate of inspection fee of $40 for the Dover Library annual inspection. Ask for a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor, aye, John Jeffries.
Aye, Robin Hunter.
Hi, Dave Haviland.
So moved. Thank you very much. We had our next item. We had a discussion on Tuesday night, which was our first open space meeting. So I'm very happy to let you know that I had conversations with all of the open space committee members Everyone was present for the meeting. Thanked everyone profusely for their efforts. The open space does touch a lot of bases, and the third item for this evening is the chairs of the town boards, committees, and commissions have requested that the Board of Selectmen appoint or reappoint individuals to their boards, committees, commissions. Additionally, staff members whose terms have expired will be appointed or reappointed to their respective positions. The motions this evening are all specific to open space. As I said, we met on Tuesday. The first three are open space, and then the fourth is the Board of Regents. So I'm going to do the first three, and then we'll do Deborah Stein in the Board of Regents separately. Is that okay with everyone?
Right, and then there's the interim fire chief.
Oh,
too.
thank you, Robin, interim fire chief. Thank you very much. And do that one separately, just in the event anyone would like to comment on the open space, and then the Board of Regents, and then the fire chief. So first, the open space. I move to appoint to the Open Space Committee Amy Moot and Justine Kent-Uritam, each to the term of 2 years, ending on June 30, 2026. Richard Nagy and Greg Calhoun, each for 1 year term ending on June 30, 2025. Boynton Glennon for a 3-year term ending on June 30, 2027. And ask for a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor, aye, John Jeffries.
I, Robin Hunter.
Hi, Dave Haviland.
Thank you. And just a quick thank you to Amy, Justine, to Richard, and to Greg and Boyden. All of us, all of the members of the board, each know these individuals personally. We've served with them for a very long time. They are tirelessly dedicated to the town of Dover. They do so much, and they do so many things with regards to just the open space, not just regards to the open space, but for the town. Greg has built many of the walkways. He has done trail work. Rick has done a lot of trail work there. They've done hours and hours of work on bridle paths, on easements. Boyden, as you all know, and many of the people of the town know, has donated land, has given land to conservation restrictions. His house goes from Pine Street in Dover all the way to Central Street, and all the way from the bottom of Pine Street to the top, to the bottom of Snow Hill. So his land incorporates a lot of the open space between Pine Street and Center Street that goes up to the top of Snow Hill, that's used for trails and horses and biking. It really is a spectacular piece of property. So thank you to those three. Robin or Dave, want to add anything to that?
I will echo your remarks, John. You know, the other thing I'd also encourage citizens of Dover, if they haven't taken advantage of the open space Saturday walks, it's a great way to explore Dover's open space, so you don't spend hours being lost, and then you can go there yourselves. And you know, and I've had the pleasure of going on some of these hikes, and either Boynton or Amy have led them, and it's really just a wonderful opportunity to explore the land that has been donated. And I agree with you, John. The committee takes, you know, the Dover conservation land, the trails are in excellent condition, and thanks to, again, these volunteers that have been doing it for years and years and years. But if you're looking for something to do, first Saturday of the month, strongly recommend that you do that. It's really fun.
It is. I totally agree. Dover Days is the second Saturday coming up next week. We'll cover that later in our meeting. And then the Sunday after Dover Days, not only is the DS Triathlon, but it's the polo, and a lot of members of Open Space are very active in the polo, in the hunt, and with the hunt club and polo in the field. So it's They really, really do a lot. It's such a special group of people who it's so dedicated. So just encourage everybody to take advantage of all these things that are offered. The next part of the motions is the appointment of Deborah Stein to the Board of Registers for the 3-year term ending on June 30th. Deborah is going to take the place of let me just scroll down. I got to George Cemento. George is stepping down. Deborah is stepping in. Many of you know George lives behind David, a little bit behind David in the farm on Powasset. Longtime member, longtime dedicated servant to Dover. So George, thank you very much for your service. And Deborah, I'm going to make officially the motion to welcome you. I move to appoint Deborah Stein to the Board of Registrars for their 3-year term ending June 30, 2027, and ask for a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor, aye. John Jeffries.
Aye, Robin Hunter.
Hi, Dave Haviland.
Fantastic, thank you. And finally, a move to appoint interim fire chief Jim Wright as the forest warden to fill the unexpired term of retired interim chief Ed Cornack, ending on June 30, 2026, and ask for a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor, aye. John Jeffries.
Aye, Robin Hunter.
Hi, Dave Haviland.
Thank you very much. Michael, is there anything that you would like to add to these? Anything that we might have missed, or are we that pretty much?
No, that you hit everything. I'll just add, I agree with the sentiments about George, but just as a reminder, he's not retiring. He now serves as the chair of the ZBA,
Yes.
which required him to come off as a board registrar because you can't serve on another town board or committee. So we appreciate his service. And then also, in case you were wondering, I was curious where the forest warden came from. It's actually within our bylaws. You're required as a selectman to appoint a forest warden, which references Mass General Law, which puts the fire chief in charge of forest fires. You think that might happen automatically, but apparently it takes an extra vote. So that's why you did that tonight.
I was gonna,
and I just don't recall.
Right.
I don't ever recall appointing the fire warden before the forest. But I'm sure we did.
Yeah, we would have had to twice.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. Well, yeah. Well, thankfully, it's none of us that have to share as fire warden. Make this. I think it'd be kind of cool to drive the truck that goes into the forest, the big tires and all that stuff. I wouldn't want to do it during a fire, and I wouldn't want to be responsible for anything that happened while I was on that during a fire. So thank you very much. We're going to move to item 4, which is the Board of Selectmen updates. And I gave you a bit of my update from open space. I'll cover that just briefly. We had our first open space of 2024 to 2025 season on Tuesday. It's, as you can imagine, with the members of the open space committee, it is a lively, broad discussion with Carol Lisbon and Amy Moot and all the members, from Justine to Greg to Rick. So you get caught up. Sarah Monaco gave us a complete rundown of what's happening with the Hunt Club and the things that are happening within Dover that pertain to open space are many, from Willow Street Bridge to the culverts to the Center Street Bridge project to the project ongoing at the community center, and all of the things that with hail, all the things that we did last year that affect open space, and of course construction, all the construction maintenance that's happening within the town. A lot of things happen in the summertime while the committees are taking a summertime break. When you come back in September, everything is happening. And so we got a full meeting and got really caught up with all of the members of the open space. Was very, very productive. And as Robin pointed, open space has a full schedule of walks and vernal pool investigations and really cool things. So please go to the website. And
I'm trying to get Mona to do one with me.
that would be, you should do Pagan, Mona. You really should do
Yes.
Pagan with Robin.
It's
spectacular.
beautiful.
It's coming up.
I
It's
just may
coming up.
do that.
It's beautiful. And Mona, you can do
Yes.
it when it's warm. So
Yes, I would like that, John.
do the next one. Do Pagan. It's coming up.
Okay.
So that was Tuesday night. Very long open space meeting. On Tuesday morning, I had my weekly update meeting at the trailer with the building committee for the community center, with our our owners representative from Colliers, with the architects, with the O'Connell crew. So that's been ongoing every Tuesday. I do that.
Anything to report, John, that we should be aware?
Oh yeah, there are lots to report, Robin, and this is the part where we may not break the record for being quick this evening. There is a lot to report, and specifically, there's a lot of items that have to be discussed in the process of a installation, when, as everybody on the call and most of the people watching and most of the people in Dover who have been through a home renovation project, sometimes you take delivery of a product and the contractor says to the person delivering the product, that's not what I ordered, or that's not quite right. That happens in the construction trailer every Tuesday for hours. Ford, Dick Malcolm, myself, we sit there as the members of the town of Dover, our Colliers representatives, the architects, the builder, subcontractors. There's typically 15 to 20 people in that trailer every Tuesday when we do this. And you go through painstaking detail about issues that come up during the construction project that just don't mesh. So it's constantly negotiating and solving problems with things that just don't mesh in the process of the building. This week, it was the windows. The windows were tested and they failed. And there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of detail. I won't go into the detail tonight because I'm not the window expert. I literally sat through hours and hours and hours of meetings as to why the windows failed. Colliers is going to give us their take. The architect gives us their take. The builder, the construction, and the subcontractors all give their takes, and then you have to figure it out. So we're in the figure it out stage for the windows, but the windows all failed their test. And that is
John, how do you mean they failed? They didn't fit? They didn't?
No, what happened, Dave, is there's a water test that is conducted on all of the windows at installation. Every window is tested several different ways. One of them is
That's all you need. You can stop there. So there's been several ways, but the bottom line is we're not going to be dried in for a while, because if we don't have windows, then they can't continue the interior installation.
correct. That's right. So that is going to be a problem. However, they have been working every minute of every day. I've checked in with everyone on all sides to solve the problem. It is a combination of the manufacturer's specifications for the test are very specific. Our architects and our owner's representative are following those details to the letter. There is room in operationally to have a variance of what the test actually does. So I'll give you my example, and please, for those watching and listening, this is just my example. You could take a fire hose and blast the window, and the window may fail. You could take a garden hose to the same window, and the window passes perfectly. So somewhere between the fire hose and the garden hose, there's going to be an agreement as to what to do to make the windows pass. Now, it may mean using different means of insulation, of caulking, of cement. There's a lot of different things that could go into this process. And I probably should just leave it there, because I may just, not give people watching and listening to this in the future the right information. Does that make sense to everyone?
Right, so it seems as though the tests have failed, and I'm sure there's a remedy that will occur, so.
Definitely. Robin, there's many remedies. Some are very easy to imagine. Re-engineer the window. 1, get a different window. 2, use a different test. 3, and a combination of all of those things to a certain extent with all the manufacturers. The issue is, who owns the cost of changing? Who owns the time that it's going to take to do this? And is it all necessary based upon generally accepted standards with the manufacturer or the architect or the builder, which are on 3 different pages? Make sense?
Yeah, but I was going to ask about time. Sorry, Robin. I was going to ask about any mention of delay time, and in general, has there been any discussion on when the keys might be coming our way?
Yes, there's a constant discussion about when the keys are going to be handed. That date changes all the time.
Where are they roughly now?
Roughly
Roughly.
February. So there's 2 parts, Dave. There's part 1 where they say to Michael Blanchard, we are done the construction, but not done the punch list, matter of punch list items.
Yeah, all that deliverables, the steps are all in the contract. That's actually really clear. So
yes. Yeah.
Robin, your decision about the custodians and the flexibility of the people we hired is looking more and more genius, because I mean, as this pushes back, we would have had people on staff with no
Right.
building to be in.
Right. And that was one of the concerns as well, but I still believe that the framework we set up to run that community is going to be extremely successful and save the town money as well. Because
Agreed.
everybody's committed, so.
Right.
I agree. Even more so, Robin, to take that a little bit further, the way that the building is going to have to be run, Dave, the first several months, there's going to be a lot of planning around having a building, whether we take the receipt of those keys when they're ready to give it to us or when we're ready to accept them. Big difference.
I understand, and I understand that it may seem subtle, but it's massive.
Yes.
So you know what? It sounds like it's still way too early, John. But you've set some expectations about where we are on the schedule, and whether people like the answer or not is not important. We just now know an answer, and it will continue to move.
Correct. Yeah, it's correct. Yeah, and many people ask. I'm sure they ask you. I'm sure they ask Robin. Many people ask just when you're at the transfer station, when you're at the market, when you're at the gas station. People are always asking, what the status is.
Everybody's excited to have it open, and you drive by there and you definitely see progress, and it looks like it's going to be sometime soon, but every time I drive by there, like, I look to see if the roof's completed, I look to see, and that's every day, whether the windows are done, and I'm sure you do the same thing, Mike. So. And there were always people working there, so that's a good sign.
It is a good sign. And it's, you know, as Nina told us, well, we can't go into that discussion in open, but you want to see that, Robin. You want to see the people there, and you want to see them working and pushing the job forward. The just one quick thing about the roof, because it's been literally 3 months. The roof flashing, where the roof and the flashing and the downspouts all come in, that was a setback that had to be re-engineered, and it was impressive to see something that had to be changed, how from architects to the subcontractors to the contractor have to work together, and nobody's happy when these things happen because it just means it's a change and somebody's got to do something differently. In the case of this flashing, everybody had to do something differently. So we're demanding that it gets done. They know we're demanding it must get done. And they know they've all got to work together to figure it out. So while it's nobody's going to be happy, I can tell you that they have demonstrated throughout this project, they have the ability to work together. They have the ability to solve the problem. These are smart, really capable people. And it's really frustrating because I leave there mad as hell every time I leave because it's further and further delayed. But you have to go in knowing that these people are trying really hard to do their job. So it's the combination of you got to let them do their job and let them figure it out. You got to be demanding that they do it on our timetable. And then you've got to be mindful that it's not going to happen the way we want it to happen. So it's frustrating, but they're good people and they're working hard at it. So I don't know what else to report other than, you know, we are there every week. There's at least 4 people from the town of Dover that are there, not just on Tuesday and Friday afternoons, but Carl Warnick and his whole team and all the building inspectors, all the various inspectors are there every week.
Yep.
So, do you guys is there anything that I could clarify or?
No, but
No,
Nina's
it's good
in
to
on
get
the,
an
oh,
update.
sorry, Robin, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's good to get an update.
Yeah. And then Nina has been brought up to speed on this vis-a-vis the contractual obligations and holdbacks.
Not yet. I haven't gone directly to Nina on any of this. I prefer to do it through Michael, you know, so it's more of, it's not piecemeal and it's not.
That's fine. That's fine. As long as Nina's been plugged in or will be plugged in. And Nina was talking about the holdbacks that we are able to do from the general contractor, but not the subs. We got to pay the subs. But if it looks like now we're going from October to February, order of magnitude, so now we have 4 months, and at 1,500 a day, that's going to be fair amount of money.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. But yeah, Michael, would you add anything to that?
No, just to your point, thank you. You know, we, after Nina met with you as a board, and again, you know, being cognizant that was an executive session, she asked to have a direct line of communication with ourselves and our project management team. So yes, you know, she is up to speed. And to Dave's point, we're looking at all of those options given the additional time that we're looking at this point.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, so those are my updates. Nothing else to add on the town front on any of the other items. We can talk about just the upcoming events later in the meeting, but that's it for me. Robin?
So I'll be brief. A number of things have been going on. The Dover Housing Task Force finalized RFP and that got sent out, so that's really exciting. You know, we're looking to get some proposals back from our consultant. We also want to let the town know that once we do hire the consultant, we are going to be expanding the task force to include citizens as well, and not limited to just boards and committees. There's also going to be ample opportunity for the town to provide, or for citizens to provide input, as we plan to have information sessions and put out surveys and things like that. But it's certainly an extremely exciting project. The other thing that came out of the housing task force that will no longer be a part of it is this creation of a sustainability committee in the town of Dover. And Anna Nagy, who's a member of Open Space, as well as a member of the Dover Housing Task Force, took the lead for this. She has put together a draft charter. She is reaching out to various boards and committees because she was very cognizant of not recreating the wheel, but including the processes that already exist today in the creation of the sustainability committee. So long story short, at our September 19th meeting, Anna will be making a presentation and we will send out the draft charter prior to that meeting for everybody to take a look at. And then lastly, Dover Days, we talked a little about that, but the Board of Selectmen does have a table there. Mike and Chris are going to be manning the table, but I think it would be great if the three of us could be there as well. So I plan to be there, you know, just to answer any questions, meet people. One of my major agendas there is to try and get newer folks or folks with kids to volunteer. So, you know, we do have a list of all the openings, and so I think I'm really looking forward to it. We've never done it before. And thank you to Mike and Chris for executing. I don't know, did we come up with a trinket to give away, Mike, that, or not yet?
Not yet. We're still looking at our options. If you have any suggestions, let us know. But
Yeah, I decided the only way to get people or kids to the Board of Selectmen table, and that would get their parents there,
Chocolate.
was
You
to
gotta
bribe,
give
a
like
bribe, which we're not
chocolate.
supposed to do, you know, if you've taken the ethics training, but
Yeah, but if we give Mike and we give Chris like a big bowl of like, you know, the chocolate covered candies or something like that, like that's, and they could get in trouble for it. They could, you know.
I was gonna say, let's hit Felicia up for her M&Ms.
M&Ms,
there
right.
you go.
Go from there.
It has to be individually wrapped, though.
That's right.
Robin, you know, you can get M&Ms with your photo on them. We did that recently for one of our CEOs retired at one of the companies, and we had M&Ms with her photo on them. Kind of cool.
Very cool. So those are the main things. I do not feel as though there was a rest period this summer.
No.
I feel as though there was a regular cadence. Oh, and lastly, we also started some planning meetings for the rail trail. So we're working through pulling together a project plan that at some point, once we finalize that, we can present it to the town. And again, it's not, no decisions are being made, it's just putting together a plan of what needs to get done.
Thank you very much. David?
Well, you guys have hit so much of what the planning board is doing. I did go to the planning board meeting and learned about, but you've already talked about most of it. The only thing I would add is there is that housing plan, and they are starting that process. And the suggestion in a very open and productive conversation was to make sure that there's a plan B. so that we have something to give to town meeting. This is what we want. And if you don't want it town meeting, then this is what we need. So we're going to have a plan B so that we are going to be compliant with the MBTA Act with a choice, if you will, so we don't get caught without an overlay zone, and then all that money gets put at risk. Let's see. So what else? The financial review subcommittee. You got Mike's update on the recruitment efforts for the new finance director, treasurer collector. Without having someone full time, it is very hard to get the time because the two people we have are part-time and basically trying to do the very basics.
Right.
So what we are looking to do right now is back up and go through the RFP process. And Carl sent over a draft that he has. Kate's got a good one, but the bottom line is we have 3 investment managers, and we have not bid that out in a long time, and we can go get that process done. And that's something I think that, Mike, please jump in if you disagree, but I think that's something that we can do before we get this new treasurer collector.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
So we're trying to take it in small steps because we don't have a choice until we have got a full-time staff to really,
Right.
really dig in, but we're getting there. Let's see, Robin, you already covered Dover Days, so I look forward to that. And along that, we had talked about in our planning sessions about maybe having once a quarter open hours for selectmen. Is that something where, Mr. Chairman, would you like to go first?
I would.
happen?
I would like to do that, Dave. And we talked about that. I wrote it down in our notes for follow up, and wanted to make sure we coordinated with Mike and ours, and I wanted to also to get Chris to broadcast it so we could tell people. And one of the things that we really should do is at the booth on Dover Days, have a little, something on the table that says, we will have office hours these particular days, right? In September, have it X day. In October, have the dates, like literally add the dates.
So are we doing it monthly?
Mike?
I think originally you had thought to maybe start quarterly. So I think and I like John's point of having something if we could at Dover Days, but I think the idea was not over the summer. So, our July, August would not be great. September, I think it's great to do Dover Days. So that's kind of like an opportunity. So we thought maybe one then in October, November, December, one the next 3, and then one, maybe leading up to town meeting. So if that's something we wanted to schedule out, we could, or just kind of let people know it's happening and keep an eye on social media and the newsletter. And then once we get dates certain, we can broadcast that widely.
Yes, because then the other piece of that is demand. I mean,
Correct.
If we have hours for 3 hours and no one shows up, well, that's one message. If people are unable to get time, then we should offer more.
Right.
There's been the demand. I'll use that word, Dave, and we'll use it with air quotes, demand, because of the break-in, the car thefts, break-ins, the vandalism that happened over the summer. There's been a lot of angry emails, angry, reactions to that. In the people that have brought it to my attention, I suggested that we have what we have been talking about, an open day where people could come in, or an event like a night at the library using the room downstairs, something like that, and do it pretty quickly, because a lot of people have been very, very angry about it. What happens is in the summertime, something like this happens, and then there's pockets of time where people go away, come back, and when they come back and they're back here in September, you tend to get things that they've been mad about for months, or at least for weeks.
But the point, John, is then all the more reason to have an open forum for citizens to become informed and
Yes.
let us know what is on their mind. So
Yeah.
I think it's great. So
There's
Mike, I agree with you. I think we got to start small and then let demand drive it. If we need more, we'll have more, but we've never done it before that I'm aware of.
Right.
the
I
topics
feel
that
like
have-
Dover Days is our first one.
First
Trust
one,
me, you're
right.
gonna get complaints.
Yep.
Because
So
nobody ever wants to talk to you to say you're doing a great job. I have yet to have anybody
Not
approach
once.
me with that. So.
But here's what they do want to talk to us about, Robin. Stop signs, crosswalks, lines being painted on the new streets that we just paved that don't have lines. The car, obviously, the cars being broken into. There's a list of the streets that got paved, but the lines didn't come in. The streets where the tracks were pulled up on Haven and Hunt. I thought people would come out of the woodwork, Robin, to thank you. No, they were mad because the paving didn't match. Like, there were railroad tracks there. How can you be mad about paving when we just literally took up railroad tracks? So, there are, and then of course, rail trail. Well, I heard the rail trail's coming back. When's it going to be completed? Okay, that's,
well,
yeah.
again, having people able to ask questions and become informed will
Right.
do nothing but help.
I
So,
agree.
so that's everything on my list.
Excellent.
Thank you. I think that is, and just to remind people, but the Dover Days is not this Saturday, it is the 14th. So on that note, Michael, I will turn it over to you for your updates.
Yeah, so I'll go with the theme tonight and be brief. I think so much of what you just updated on is almost hits every one of our goals and objectives.
Right.
So just for your benefit and for the public's benefit, these aren't even finalized because we're waiting for feedback from boards and committees, and you'll vote them formally at your next meeting. But we're already working on them. So the communication piece. The communications plan at Dover Days will have the kickoff of a communication survey that we're asking residents to participate in, which is how they're getting their news now, how they like to get it. Again, working through our hiring and our treasurer accounting operations. We talked about the community center. We're hoping in October to have before you an RFP for the municipal aggregation consulting services, which is the first step to kick off the process that was approved at town meeting. Robin touched on the rail trail and the housing study, the sustainability committee. So things are moving and grooving, which is nice. To Robin's point, I have a bone to pick with the board in that when they hired me, they told me, "Oh, you'll have the summers to catch a breath." You lied, but it was good. It was good stuff, and it certainly was a busy summer. The only thing I just wanted to add, particularly in light of, I know it's just realistic, but sometimes difficult community center discussion. A project that's going very well on time and on budget is the Willow Street culvert reconstruction. The culverts have been installed. They had to de-water in order to do that, but they're installed. The water is back and flowing, and paving is going to be taking place next week. So it's nice when something's on time and on budget. So I thought I'd just share those positives.
Oh, that's great news.
Yeah.
Really?
I always wondered driving over that thing, am I going in this time or not? So
Dave, how about riding your bike over those metal things in the rain? Think about that.
oh yeah, that'd be a good one.
I did that 1,000 times and thought, okay, this could be it. But then I thought, well, if that metal thing doesn't move, I got a really good chance of getting over it. So
That's right.
I
that's good news. And I always try to tell people we appreciate your patience. It's a temporary inconvenience for a permanent improvement. So
That's what the MBTA is telling red line users.
Is that what they're saying? Okay.
That's all.
That
completely-
sounded a little too
Yeah,
close to
yeah.
home, Robin. What do you think?
Yeah.
I don't know, hopefully it fixes it, but it is September and the red line is down, you know, a substantial part of it. From the 9th to the end of the month, so I just
Wow.
hear about it every day from people at work taking the red line. It's
Yeah.
an adventure
It's
getting
it.
to
The
Ox-
MBTA has been an adventure for years. That is a work in progress, and there's a lot of work needs to be done. So thank you, Michael. I think it's a very good thing that we are just naturally reporting during our updates all of the items that we meticulously plan and that you have noted in your updates, looking at the 3 pages of your updates and what we've covered in the first 45 minutes tonight. It's pretty impressive that clearly all the things that we meticulously took time for are the items that come up and that we're dealing with day to day. So I guess that's a good thing.
And for that, we have to thank Mike and Chris and Mona and the rest of the staff for keeping us on track, because if it weren't for them, we would not be this focused.
Absolutely. Very, very true. I'm going to move to the consent agenda. They consist of the following items for approval in 2024 one-day special liquor licenses for September 1st retroactive, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 14th, the 15th, October 5th, 6th, 12th, 13th, 19th, 20th, 25th, 26th, 27th. Approval of May 11th, 2023 Board of Selectmen open session meeting minutes that Mona meticulously prepared. I move to approve the consent agenda items as presented and ask for a second.
Second,
All in favor, aye, John Jeffries.
I, Robin Hunter.
Hi, Dave Haviland.
And Mona, I take it you would like us to stop by tomorrow to sign all of these?
You know what? I'll text you first before you come so I can prepare the letters and then I'll text you.
Okay, all right,
Thank you.
okay.
Yes.
Mona, did we get invited to any of these parties? There are about 30
All of them this time.
I actually met a guy on the way over who just his son just got married at the Connors Center,
Wow,
and he was raving about it. He was so excited, and I thought about it, and I'm like, I think I signed your liquor permit.
You certainly did.
He thanked me profusely. So
it's a really beautiful venue. I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to go there.
it is spectacular.
Right.
I've only seen
Yeah.
it from the outside. I'd like to get inside though.
Oh, Mike, you got to go in. We used to hold your staff meetings there at least a couple of times a year.
Okay.
Once a quarter, they used to do offsites over there for
Offsites.
the,
I'll
yeah,
look into that. Okay.
yeah. They give you a special deal. It was really nice because it was close, but everybody didn't get disturbed,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
They have a nice room, especially for trainings, if you're gonna do any trainings.
Yeah, it's a great offsite location and it comes complete with liquor licenses.
There was never any of that at the trainings. There was coffee and pastries and donuts. It was always very nice.
Always, yeah, always a great night. Any other items, Michael? Anything that we need to cover? Anything that we can?
No, that's everything. Thank you. And thank you, Dave, for jumping on from your retreat.
Exactly.
Remote. Dave, how long are you gonna be there?
Yeah. All right. First, you got to tell me what day it is. It's been long enough because I don't even know.
Well, you got to go north next week. So it's Thursday the 5th today. So you're heading north.
I'll be home for Dover days, and I know that various parts of the family will be home at different times. So
Good. Good. Well, I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn at Robin 7:19.
I will second that.
All in favor? I, John Jeffries.
I, Robin Hunter.
Hi, Dave Howland.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Michael, I know this is back to school week, so we I hope you can get home quickly and see how everybody's going on back to school week. So
Thanks.
yeah, especially just a quick thanks for all the teachers who came back.
Right?
After the first week. It's
Uh,
not easy. So thank you all. Have a great night.
Thanks.
Mona.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mona.
Good night.